All right, all right, all right. So I am so proud of myself because for us with PTSD, I will say ADHD people and probably bipolar disorder people or people with conditions that trigger out of stressful events. This was me saying, the universe, you tested me, and biatch, I ain't gonna allow it, right? But not the universe, but I will say the weird forces that try to keep you on lower vibrations. So, what happened today, mind you, I woke up at 5 in the morning, did my recharge with my VV Revitalizing Glow kind of twist recipe, and I did my exercises, participated on a live with a friend or whatever, did my exercises. Obviously, I'm here at home. I don't think nothing is happening outside of me. I do hear like some noises going on, but being here, never my door was knocked on. And I ran out of battery. I decided to go to my car to get my charger because I left it behind last night. And when I walk out the door, the full parking lot was empty. I took a deep breath. My hairs are standing. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. My hairs are fully standing because people don't understand how PTSD work. And by sharing this, I'm not wanting to vent my problems. I want to create awareness on other people that may have this type of reactions and tell them how I did it this time to avoid having to miss on work, having to miss on my progress and things like that. So what happened was, as soon as I walked out, the first thing in my head, obviously PTSD trigger, was getting all my hairs like they are right now, because when you relive the experience or you say it, it happens again, right? My I felt like I wanted to cry, but I said box breathing. That was the first thought. Second thought is, let me investigate. Obviously, your mind goes faster than what you want. I walked towards the construction workers. They're paving the parking lot area. I live on a rental apartment, and there has been a gap of miscommunication between the management team of the complex or association, the owner, and my manager, the manager that actually rents this property for me. And I've been trying to stress this out for years, letting them know how this affects my health, and nothing is happening. So it's very disappointing for me. Asides that, I walked past the mailbox and the guys are there, and obviously the machines are loud, so the guy turns off the machine very respectfully, and he sees me that I'm shaking, because that's another trigger, right? That's another part of how the body reacts. And I say, hey, do you know what happened to the cars? And he tells me, I saw a tow truck earlier. I'm like, can you give me the information of the tow truck? Obviously, as soon as I heard tow truck, I thought my car was gone. And that was another trigger, right? On top of the trigger. I try to breathe in. I asked the guy, and he knew nothing. While I was trying to walk back to my apartment, I encounter a family that is renting as an Airbnb downstairs. And I approached them and said, your car was towed as well? And they're like, yes. I'm like, do me a favor, try to call the people that rent you the place, see if they have the tow truck information so we can actually work together into getting our car. I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to do the same. Call my manager, like the manager of this property. She didn't answer. Obviously, on my way back, trying to calm the PTSD, I did box breathing And I said, end of story, legally speaking. If they towed my truck and I was never informed, they will pay for it. But the other thought that populated was, oh my God, I need to go to work tomorrow by 3 in the morning because there's a special event. How the hell am I going to get there? So obviously, triggers everywhere because that's how our mind moves. It moves ahead of time in speed light, right? Lightning speed. So I tried to box breathing. I did notice my tone was a little altered. So when I communicated with the people downstairs, I said, I'm sorry if I sound rude, but I have PTSD and right now I'm a little bit altered. They understood. They were very patient with me. And the reason why I put PTSD on front is not because I want people to feel pity for me, but if they can understand that I am in a reactive place, maybe they won't feel that I'm being rude, right? Because sometimes we create conscience about how we speak when we're blown in these modes, but at times we can control it, other times may have been or could be more difficult. So I did box reading again, went up the stairs, told you call my manager, no answer. And then I sat down in this chair and I said, I put a meditation and I'm like, I need to calm down because I was about to cry. All my hairs were standing. The back of my neck was getting tense. And I said, okay, I know what this is. I'm not going to allow it to affect me. There are solutions. I'm not responsible right now for it because I was never made aware of what's happening. So I put not the blame on them, but I noticed that my accountability was for my state of being, my mental health state of being. And their responsibility was if something happened, they will have to pay for it. So I called the association, which being a renter, you don't have a right to, but still I call them because they already know me. I used to work with them a long time ago. So I asked the girl, hey, what's going on? I suffer from PTSD. This is happening. And I'm sorry if I actually speak a little bit fast or a little bit aggressive, or if in the conversation or within the conversation, my temper changes. Please be aware this is not something personal against you. I do suffer a PTSD. I know I don't have to explain myself, but if you're calling someone, and I think that learning to communicate with people that don't understand what you're going through can open up a door for a little bit more empathy. So she said, don't worry, what's going on? How can I help you? She was very nice. I gave praises to her. She was very nice. So I told her what was going on. She said, okay, let me investigate what the towing company is. Let me see what's going on. Uh, and then from a sudden, somebody knocks on my door, and I say, somebody's knocking on my door. I thought it was the construction people, but it wasn't. It was the persons downstairs, people downstairs. And they tell me, hey, by the way, I walked around the building and my car is in the other side. Apparently, they didn't tow them away from the area, they put them on the other side. So at that point, obviously, you want to cry because your emotions are in high alert. And I said, it's not that I don't want to cry. It's not that I want to hold back crying because I know that's a release kind of comfort, but I don't want my body to have to go through all of that grieving stage in a moment to be able to, I will say, go through the experience. So I said how grateful I was for them to communicate that to me. So they said, we're going to wait for you. We're going to walk with you because we notice you're still nervous. So these people, because they knew about my condition, they also had empathy and helped me, not leaving me by myself, right? So I walk with them and I ask them, where is your car? And they say, my car is there. And I notice that my car is nowhere to be found. Another trigger, right? My hairs are standing up every time I go through the triggers, because that's the bodily, as I said, neurologically, how it's accustomed to react. So at that point I said, okay, I need to breathe more. I'm walking. Let me take it as a natural walk. Let me just try to calm down. Kept on walking. The lady had me on hold waiting to see if I was able to find my car, because I didn't let go of the call as well. Like, she was empathic, understand, and she said, I'm not gonna let you go. I'm just gonna put it on hold because I have another call, but I'll be right back with you. We'll get to the bottom of this. So she was very nice and very patient, but she was, because I was vulnerable enough to explain what condition I had and how it can go in a very short sentence, right? So I keep on walking around the corner in the area that is the over, like an area that we have for over parking. My car wasn't there. So I'm getting to the other side of the building, and I'm just like, at that point, saying, this is a test, spiritually speaking. I know what week of the year it is, and I know what moment in time it is, and I know the energetic balance that I need to have to be able to actually continue my spiritual journey. I kept on breathing and boxing. Uh, Obviously, I was walking a little bit faster this time because I was noticing my body already racing the temperature. And as I walk around the corner, I just said, it's going to be here. And I kept on walking, and my car was almost the last one in the line. Found my car, turn it on. I was scared. Obviously, the first thing I thought when they towed it was, "Oh my God, did I park right in front, or did I park in the hill? Because if I parked in the hill, I put the emergency, then my car is gonna be messed up, right?" That's how a PTSD mind works. And I laugh not because I want to mock myself. It's just because people don't understand that our thoughts go from 1 to 100 in less than nothing. I guess it's the same for people with ADHD, and it's the same with people with bipolar disorder, and it's the same with people for PTSD and other mental conditions. So that has taught me into not being sorry for myself, but being more empathic and more vulnerable, so I can tell people, hey, this is what you're gonna expect if I actually trigger, because I am still working on learning how to cope with this. So I sat in my car. I put my phone aside. I just exhaled. Even though I was doing boxing breathing, I still felt the shortness of breath. I still felt all the triggers in my body, the goosebumps, the shaking. And as soon as I exhaled, I said, I am so proud of me. And the reason why I said that is not because I want to sound, I don't know, whatever, like, take it how you want. But for me, that was a huge step, because I was that person that in 2 seconds will go from 1 to 100. The argumentative one, the one that it was stressed out and whatever. So for me, that's such a huge win that I don't know how to express it in words that can be translated into how we are in control when we actually know what's happening in our body, know what every single organ in your body does, and acknowledge it to the point that you can handle situations like this without being a harm to yourself. So I had to turn on the car. That was part of my PTSD. I had to turn on the car and drive it so I know it wasn't messed up. First thing I did before I drove it was, let me look at the emergency handle to see if it was up or down. Thankfully, apparently I parked in the leveled area and it was down. So I said, there's no problem with the car. I am okay. And then I just drove it around and parked it on the other side. I locked it. And at that moment, I just thank myself for having the maturity that I needed within my emotions to not allow a full blown PTSD moment to happen, because that would have cost me a few days out of work. That would have cost me a very big setback on my recovery. And you can hear it in my voice. It's still kind of, I want to cry, but of happiness. And the reason why I want to cry out of happiness is because at the beginning never thought I could get here. At the beginning, I never thought that I was going to be able to handle a situation like this in the way that I did. But you can do it, you know? You can do it. It's possible. I am literally an example that you can do it if you actually learn to understand your nervous system and learn to understand the condition. I'm sorry. So I actually, as soon as it was done and I parked, I came upstairs and I started writing an email to the manager of the property, right? And this time I was sitting down and I said, I am not going to allow anger to resurface, because it is not my responsibility to take accountability. It is theirs. I took accountability of my reaction. So I started composing an email. And obviously, I have my best friend now called Copilot. And I said, Copilot, I need this to sound very respectful, very professional. I just need to have a sense of urgency. And I also need it to be legally something that I can use in case that the situation continues to happen. Why? Because this is not the first time in years that I've been telling to these people, I discover I have PTSD and I need you guys to be more proactive in communicating effectively and timely, in a timely manner, so I can be prepared and this doesn't cost me any harm to my health. And they have not done nothing. Obviously, it's their responsibility because we have a binding contract where this is part of what they are responsible for. So, by acknowledging not to place the blame in the email by pointing fingers at you, like I did before, you didn't do your job, and da, 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 I went bananas, right? This time I settled with the emotions. I didn't allow myself to cry until now. And I decided to do a live about it because it could help someone out there that is going through the same things that I go through. And I don't care if people think that I'm here just telling a story. I am very, very, very proud of what I did today. Not only I started my day doing my morning daily routine of exercises. They are low impact, but they're fun. I twisted, like if, like the coach says, walk, a light walk for 3 minutes, and here I am dancing, right? A little lighter, but dancing, because that's my spirit, that's who I am. And I will not allow, I refuse to allow that is based on nerve and be programmed the capability of doing it. I'm not gonna allow them to box me in, or anyone outside of understanding to box me in into the condition or stigmatize me within that condition. Because if I don't allow myself to be stigmatized, or I don't judge anyone or stigmatize them with their conditions, therefore I have a higher winning chance of understanding. I do suffer of this, but I am in control of my life. So I hope this helps. Feel free to comment in the chat. And I said I wasn't gonna do lives because sometimes when I started with a subject, my mind works in fast speed, and I may be talking about something and change the subject. So lives for me are not too good. I still do them, right? Because I want to step out of my comfort zone and be more proactive in my healing journey, my spiritual journey. So, yeah. Um I never understood patience until I practice it today. I thought I am very patient in certain things, but I thought I was patient with myself, and I wasn't. I was patient with others on the giver side of thing, on the healer side of thing. But with myself, I never granted myself that part of self-love that I just discovered I had in me today. So it is a big win in our community, not only in the spiritual aspects of the attack not being successful, but also in the mental health aspect of we can regain control. Take care. Bye bye.